Okay, today I want to talk about gun rights, property rights, and personal rights. Had a little situation happen with a person that lives down the street in that while we were gone one day, they came up and they stole one of my flags. And yes, I'm a gun right advocate, and yes, I do fly flags. However, I do not push my opinion on anybody because I believe everybody has a right to think and do as they choose, as long as they are not impeding upon my rights, which is one of the reasons I so strongly believe in gun rights. But anyway, so I left and went into town one day, and when I came back, the small American flag that was flying on top of my Don't Tread on Me flag was gone. And everybody kept telling me, oh, it just blew away. And I said, there's no way it blew away. And I'll tell you up front, I had the little flag, the little American flag, flying upside down because it was my way of symbolizing our nation in distress. And we are a nation in distress. And again, other people don't agree with this, and I understand that, and everybody has the right to, again, believe what they choose to believe. But to me, it is a quiet, subtle way of saying, look, this household believes that our nation is in distress. So again, it's on my property. I'm not hurting anybody else, but I come home and it's gone. So I said somebody took it, and I wasn't sure who would want to take that little flag. It was like literally like 18 cents or something. So I thought it didn't have any value to steal it, so somebody obviously took it because it bothered them. So anyway, my whole family was convinced that it blew away, and I was convinced there was no way it did, because as you see with the one that I have up there currently, no matter how strong the wind had been blowing, they do not come off because I put them in there really well. So anyway, I knew somebody took them, and then a few days later, my sister, who lives down the street, called me and she said, I have been told to pass a message to my friend, who I guess he didn't realize that we were related, that lives on the corner with the flags. And it was from her neighbor. And he said to her, you tell your friend that I took her flag, and I will continue to take her flags as long as she continues to fly them. That he said, one, I was breaking the law by flying that flag upside down, which I was not. And again, I know a lot of people don't like it, but it is not against the law. Okay? And he said, as a old Marine, which is neither old, and I'm not sure if he was a Marine or not, but if he was a Marine, really that was disgraceful, because you fight for people's rights. You fight for the rights for Americans to have the freedom of speech. At least I believe that's what our military is for, to protect our country, our rights. So I'm not going to get real deep in on that, but again, so that was one of the things he said. And he said, I will continue to come on your property and to take your flags as often as I want and as often as you fly them. So I was mad, to say the least. Now, it wasn't that I was mad enough that I was thinking I should just go down there and confront him. Obviously, I would never, take a firearm and confront somebody, not in that way, but just confront him that, yes, I did fly that flag upside down, and no, you will not come on my property whenever you choose, because it is private property. But then I thought, no, because you know what? I'm mad. He's obviously mad, or he wouldn't have done what he did. And it probably would not be a good situation. It would become, if something happened, it would become a he said, she said between me and him. And I really just did not want that. So I waited for my husband to come home from work, and I discussed with him what happened. And, he could care less one way or the other about my flags, but he was livid that this man said he would continue to come on our property and take what he wanted to take. So in that aspect, again, it boiled down to a property rights issue. And so we decided that we would call the sheriff's department and get their advice on the situation. So long story short, we got a hold of the sheriff's department, and they said what they felt we should do is to issue a no trespass order on them, in which if they stepped foot on our property again, that they would be arrested immediately. So, or he would be arrested immediately. And the deputy said he felt like it would be a good idea to do it because he agreed it was not a matter of the flags here nor there. It was a matter of a person who was willing to go onto someone else's property and impose his will on the people. And he said he felt it would be the best way to kind of keep it non-violent. And so we agreed. He came out to the house, we signed the paperwork, and we put a no trespass order on them. Or a criminal trespass order, I think is how they put it. And he also said that we could press theft charges. It would be a misdemeanor. And I said, no, I really didn't want to go to that length. I mean, again, the flag was, a couple of pennies. So with us, it wasn't the theft of the item. It was the property rights issue, the personal rights issue, so on and so forth. So anyway, our neighbor down the street since then has not spoken to anybody around them, and my sister felt like I shouldn't have said anything or done anything. But again, to me, it was an issue that would have gone further had we not put our foot down and stopped it. Because I believe one of the reasons why Americans should own guns is not so that you could shoot your neighbors, obviously. That would just be ridiculous. But so that we can protect our rights. We can't just leave it to our military, who is spread all over the world, to supposedly protect our rights, because they don't have the capability to protect our rights most of the time because they're gone. And when they're here, they're doing other things. And it's up to us, American citizens, which it is our responsibility, to protect our rights. And it's a known fact that once a nation is disarmed, then you will steadily see your rights eroded, and that's what will happen. So again, it started out as an issue over a few pennies flag. And the sad part of it is when I was down in that area the other day, well, because like I said, he's my sister's neighbor, and I saw his flag. His flag is actually truly against regulations. It is faded, it is tattered, it is torn, it is barely hanging on the pole. And this is from the same person that said I was offending America with my flag. So again, everybody needs to remember that we all feel differently. We all approach things differently. And it is not for us to decide what our neighbors should do. And that's the wonderful thing about living in America and being free to choose what we do.